One of the areas of horticulture that's receiving a lot of attention lately is horticulture for the physically challenged. Just because a person loses some mobility does not mean that they have to give up any of the joy of horticulture. And with me today is Carol Cross. Carol has been our summer intern out at Oklahoma Gardening. And Carol, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now Carol, why did you choose adaptive gardening as one of your topics to research this summer?
Well, my favorite uncle had a stroke at a very early age, and he had to give up gardening, which he really loved. And a couple of my friends here at the university have limitations, and I wanted to bring the joy of gardening back to them, so I decided to research adaptive gardening.
Well, that's a great project, and it's kept you very busy this summer.
Yes, it has.
Now, one of the parts of this project was to research an adaptive gardening bed, and what are some of the specifications for that?
The bed must be 18 to 24 inches to accommodate a wheelchair. It should be 4 foot wide if assessed on both sides, or 2 foot wide if only assessed on one side.
And that's to accommodate
your reach.
Okay.
In a seated position. Also, it should not be more than 10 foot long. This bed is only 8, but anything over 10 foot, if someone has a difficulty walking, they can't make it that far.
And also here we've got this bed positioned right up next to the sidewalk. And why is that?
This accommodates the wheelchair. In most situations you should have sidewalk all around, but since we have people with different disabilities here, the sidewalk will benefit the wheelchair, and the other folks can sit on this side with the walker to work.
Okay. Now, those are the specifications of the bed. What materials did you use to construct this particular bed?
Okay. We use landscape timbers, and they are stacked 8 high. They're 8 foot by 4.5. We used 7-inch landscape nails to construct the bed. We also used eye bolts, which are located here in the bed, and you put 4 foot rebarb into the eye bolts for security of the bed.
Okay, now that's very important to have the bed stable, isn't it?
That's right.
Because also the sides you can sit on the side to garden.
Right. If you are capable of sitting on the edge, you can sit on the edge. And this is a very good support because nearly 2 foot is into the ground.
Okay. Now, I also notice here we've got some landscape fabric around the outside, and why did you put this in?
We put the landscape fabric inside the bed to secure the soil and keep it from running out through the cracks. We also did a little bit of construction on the sides where the grass is. We took a board and we covered it in landscape material and brought it up and fastened it to the bed to prevent grass and other weeds from getting into the bed.
Now, you haven't put any fabric on the bottom of the bed, have you?
No, it's open.
Okay, and then what kind of a soil mix have you put in the bed?
This soil mix consists of topsoil and mulch, just garden mulch. And it should be sufficient for growing anything that they wish to grow.
Okay. Now, one thing that isn't installed in this is a source of water, and that's very important to have a closed source of water for an adaptive bed, isn't it?
Right, that's correct. We are installing water near the bed. It should be within 1 foot of the bed, and at that time we're going to install a drip system in the bed, and also there will be a Y piece which has a wand for watering the plants in. The drip system will have a timer which allows it to be used easier.
Now, Carol, where can a person find these supplies if they're wishing to build an adaptive bed of their own?
Okay, the supplies can be purchased at any lumber yard or hardware store. But I want to thank Lowe's of Stillwater for donating the materials to build this bed, and Stan Watson for his time. I also want to thank my co-workers, Steve Owens and Mark Terrell, for actually constructing the bed. And I'd like to mention that Dave Stoddard who is in charge of Brumley Apartments, allowed us to build a bed on this site.
Okay. Well, we would like to thank all of those people. And in addition to an enabling bed, there are several pieces of equipment that can help a person with gardening. And you've gathered some of those, Carol?
Sure have.
Let's go take a look at some of those.
All right.
Now, Carol, you really do have quite a collection of tools here, and maybe you could go through some of these and why you've chosen these.
Okay. First of all, I want to mention that the tools you use depends upon the job you're doing. The length is very important for if you're standing or if you're in a wheelchair and you have to reach a ground level bed, you would want a much longer tool. If you're working in a raised bed, such as what we showed you before, you use a shorter tool. I have several of these shorter tools here, and I want to show you a few adaptations about them. One rule of thumb when purchasing a tool is to try it out first, make sure it's lightweight enough to handle whatever limitation you might have. This is actually a child's shovel, and it's quite lightweight, and it would benefit people who don't have a lot of ability to lift large amounts of soil. This particular item above is called the upper hand. This would be used on a full-size tool to help you get double support for someone who had back difficulties.
Okay, so that's an adaptation that you could put on a regular tool then?
Right. This can be used on any number of tools, and it is somewhere around $15, I believe.
That's very reasonable.
This is another one of the children's tools, which...
Here we go.
This is another one of the children's tools, which has been adapted with a foam rubber grip. This allows people with arthritis to be able to grip the tool easier and make it much more easier for them to work in the garden. Other tools we have here is a set of 3. This is an ergonomic tool which allows the arm to do the pulling instead of the wrist if you have wrist or hand problems. This is the spade. We have a hoe and a cultivator.
Okay. Now, how much would a set of tools like this run?
This set is for under $40, and it comes from the arthritis catalog.
Okay. Now, that's a very nice set of tools, and
I'd like to have a set myself. Other items that are of interest is we have a pair of scissors which is adapted for very easy cutting. This would be good for trimming the dead heads off your flowers or your leaves. They come in several different sizes, and they start from about $20.
okay.
Other items that I have are the grippers. We have 2 styles. One which rests the arm upon the gripper and allows for easy pickup. Okay. There is also the one that's just a trigger handle. There are many variations on this and many prices. Some can handle small objects and some can handle very large objects.
So those are things that could extend a person's reach.
One other item I'd like to show Brenda is this one-armed tool. This is a part of a crutch. You can slide the tool piece in and make it as short or as long as you wish. And all you have to do is drill through here, put a nut and a bolt through the hole, and that allows for pulling with one hand. Many people do have disabilities in one side, and this would still allow them to work in the garden.
Okay. So, now we've looked at things that you work in the ground with, but there's also some things that can help you as you're working to cushion.
Right. For people who have a lot of knee problems, these are quite nice. They're a knee pad with elastic in the back. We also have some shin and knee pads that fasten with Velcro. And we have a kneeling knee pad. All of these are well worn. These items can be purchased usually in your local discount store in the sportswear department or in the gardening supplies.
Okay. Now, you've also got some specific things for watering here. And what types of things can help people with that?
This is an ordinary faucet, and it has an adaptable cover to put on this faucet to allow for more mobility in your hands.
So that gives you some leverage there.
Yes, it does. Then we have a little timer which can be put on the faucet to allow you to set the time and walk away from gardening, because many people can't handle the hot sun, and it has ranges from 1/2 hour up to 3 hours for watering.
Okay.
Another item which is really handy is the soaker hose. You can place it in the raised bed and it will benefit the person who has difficulty carrying the hose. One other item I have below is a pull cart or a seat called a garden scoot. It can be lifted open to place tools, or the top can be set down and a plant can be placed on it, and with a cord you can pull it to your location.
So that can help cart things around?
And you could also sit on it to work a ground bed.
Okay. Now this last piece of equipment here, you've got quite a bit of things on it.
Okay, I'd like to tell you about this. This is a walker which allows people with difficulty walking to get to different locations. It's equipped with a sling seat. These can be placed near the bed and make for easier access of working in the garden. It has a tool chest or a tool bag, which I have equipped with a couple of pieces of equipment, which is very important to someone to be able to reach all their equipment. It can have a umbrella which would help to shade if you have difficulty being in the sun. And there are many other adaptive tools to this. They come with a tray, they come with a basket below, and you can get these at your local medical stores. Just about any adaptation that you'd like to have on this cart or wheelchair can be done for someone who likes to garden. Okay.
Now, Carol, you showed us a lot of equipment, and where could a person find some of this if they were wanting to locate it?
Most any of your medical supply houses within your area can provide it, but at this time I'd like to especially thank Cimarron Medical Services, which is a part of Stillwater Hospital, and Knight's Medical Service, and AbleTech, which is part of OSU's Wellness Center, for providing us with these tools today.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you, Carol, for doing the research and for showing everyone all of these tools, and also for helping us this summer.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.